Ready?
I'm ready. And I'm grumpy tonight, John.
Okay, that's good.
I've been grumpy all day. There's wind down here, and it's like ridiculous weather, and I am grumpy.
Okay. There we go. That's good. Maybe I'll splice that little part in and put it later and be like, here, this is the pre. This is the pre.
The pre-grump.
The pre-grump. All right, ready, John? Edit. Here. Hello. Welcome to Techlandia. We're going to call this, we've decided after, this is our fourth episode now, Scott.
Is it really?
It is. And so we've, in the fourth episode in like less than a week. I think we've done one every single day, it feels like.
Doesn't that surpass most podcasts when you get to like the fourth episode? Most end with 3.
That's right. We're about to be put on NPR. We're like Serial.
We just made new and noteworthy on iTunes.
That's right. That's right. So we're going to call this one, so we are the grumpy old age teachers. So this is now going to be called officially Goatlandia. Goatlandia.
Oh my gosh.
And there we go.
What? It's good to be on. It's good to be on Goatlandia.
It's good to be on Goatlandia. I feel kind of like a grouchy old Billy Goat. So on this podcast, this is where Scott Bedley and I, Scott, will you go ahead and introduce yourself real quick?
I am Scott Bedley. I'm in Southern California, and you can find me at SCOTTEACH on the Twitters.
I like Tosfair. TASFAIR to find him on the Twitters. We've also decided, I'm John Samuelson. I'm in Portland, Oregon. And
it's about how many followers I have, John.
No, I think that's your tweet deck chirping. People are mentioning mentioning you. Oh, they're like grumpy old teachers is on tweet. So anyway, we've just decided that that's what we're going to call this show. It's just the two of us, and we've also made a pact. We felt like the third show was kind of getting better, and what we would like to do is we would like to not talk about our other podcasts. So we're not going to talk about the Bedley Brothers, although we'll mention them. We'll not talk about Techlandia, although I just mentioned it, and then that's it. We're done talking about it. We're not going to talk about it unless it comes up in the flow of conversation and that we've talked, just talking about guests maybe we've had, but we're not mentioning those anymore.
On the new Techlandia, Sunday.
That's right. So that's what we were like. We were like, hey, what's going on Techlandia? And then we'd give like a 5-minute breakdown, and we're like, we're done with that. That might put us under 30 minutes if we do that, if we quit talking about that stuff. So that's what we're going to try and do. Because
we are not going to quit talking about Tim Bedley, though.
Yeah, we're not. That clock right there is Tim Bedley. He's about to wake up because it's like 11:50. He went to bed at 4 today. He's about to get up early and go to breakfast.
I do have to say, though, I mean, of all the people I know in education, of all the people doing incredible things, he's still by far number one on my list of guys that I would go to and say, hey, what do I need to do for this? Because the guy is legit. He doesn't talk about it. He's humble, but he is a legit teacher.
He is. All right, so I was looking at his YouTube channel. His YouTube channel gets tremendous amounts of hits, and he's got tons of different videos on there.
Yeah.
Doesn't he? Have you seen that?
Yeah. No, he wouldn't say this, but he's been doing this for so long. John, he used to live stream his classroom like 8, 9, 10 years ago before people would ever have considered that. And he had parents joining in and commenting and what. I mean, the things that he's done in his career just blow me away. I'm just like, dude, you're so far ahead of everything that I would ever know what to do, period. But, guy's just legit. I mean, he's just legit, but he would never say it because he's just not that guy. So I'll say it for him.
Yeah, we can say it for him. We can also say that he likes to get the early bird special at the Sizzler at 4 o'clock because he's old.
He did tell me he was listening when we were talking about him working out while he was working out.
See, there we go.
How meta is that?
I know. Well, that's why he's skinny and I'm kind of chunky.
Yeah, me too.
It's all right. It's more of us to love that way. So anyway, we like to talk about some education stuff. We might ramble a little bit. We're gonna try and we're gonna try and tighten it up a little bit. Scott? Are we gonna try and tighten it up a little bit?
I would say a little bit. You know, we
Right.
want to keep it a little bit tight. But John, you went to Comic-Con Portland style today. Oh, look
I
what you got
did.
the band going on.
I can't find any scissors to cut off my bracelet yet. Yes,
And
I
now,
went to
could you
Comic-Con.
relate Comic-Con to education for us so we can tie it together and
Yeah, so that will be my next session title coming up. It's like Comic-Con. Why is education like Comic-Con?
finding
And,
Comic-Con in the classroom?
corporate sponsorship of standardized tests. Pearson. Well, no, so it's funny because you go to Comic-Con, so we took my 5th grade daughter and one of her friends, and you can pay. So this is like what I think the greatness of Comic-Con is. This kind of actually reminds me of EdTech conferences that I go to. So you pay $50 to get into Comic-Con, and then once you get in, all it is just like a mass shopping market, like flea market, trying to sell you more overpriced stuff. So it's like I'm paying $50 to get in.
Wait,
so
John,
that I
hold
have
on. Hang on for a second. We're gonna get hacked if you knock Comic-Con. So please don't knock Comic-Con.
No, and the thing is, all in all, it was a lot of fun. But I think that's the element that maybe I can relate to education. I'm going to pay a whole bunch of money to go down there for just a few hours, and once I'm there, I got to pay a bunch of money to keep entertained or whatever. But we looked around a lot. I gave my daughter a $25 budget, and her friend had $20 with her. So I don't know. We got some cool stuff.
When you were there, was there like the big Comic-Con in San Diego? Were there famous stars who had served in roles of, superheroes or something?
So if you wanted to get, I did see some of those. If you wanted to go see some of those, you're shelling out about $40 for more money. There was one that I was really okay. So I'll tell you who I did see that I knew. I saw just from afar. I saw Eliza Dushku. What is she from? Is she from Buffy? Who is she from? I forget. You're just gonna go on that one. Eliza Dushku.
Who?
Well, if you wanted Eliza's autograph, it was $40.
Wow.
Okay, so I saw one of my favorite actors, Giancarlo Esposito.
Okay, there you go.
Do the Right Thing, and I guess because the Breaking Bad tie-in, you know. So anyway, I was very close to I just wanted to talk to Giancarlo Esposito. See, I don't know if I want his autograph, but I'd like to talk. So they do have this thing. So the little girl that was with me said, "Why would you get your picture taken with them?" And I said, "Oh, I'm old. I don't want their autograph. I'd rather just have my picture with them if I'm going to get there." But I was very, very close. Okay, if it wasn't $45 for this, Scott, I would have gotten it. It was Debbie Gibson.
Only in my dreams.
Only in my dreams, as real as it may seem. It was only in my dreams.
Now, if it was Debbie Gibson or Deborah Gibson and Tiffany, would you have paid the $45?
Okay, so now if it was Debbie Gibson and Tiffany, I would have definitely paid $45 to get my picture with both iconic 80s classic female teen mall singers.
One-hit wonders.
I don't know. Debbie Gibson had a ton, didn't she? Here,
yeah,
that's just true. A foolish beat of my heart. Whoa. And then Tiffany. Tiffany probably only had.
John, edit there.
John, edit there. I think we're alone now.
There's a classic, right?
You have to kind of do this too with it. You have to shimmy with it with your shoulder pads. That's what Tiffany did, I think. I think we're alone. I probably listened to that song. I don't know why I always associate the Tiffany song. Right, I think I must have seen it right after I went on a double date and we saw The Lost Boys at the movies. That's a great movie, The Lost Boys.
That is a really good movie.
Oh, come on, that soundtrack is killer too.
And that's like part of the '80s Rat Pack, with all those,
Kiefer is clutch in that movie.
It's like,
the Coreys.
The Coreys and
do you know what Kurt Reese and our favorite pastime was? I think it was about 6 or 7 months ago. Is we try and get Corey Feldman will retweet pretty much everybody, but we're just happy if Corey Feldman retweeted us. And so we'd mention him. So we mentioned one time that his new song was just flat out awful, but it was kind of weird in the way that I said it because I'm not a very good writer. And so Corey retweeted it, and I was like, Kurt. Nice. And then he started retweeting Kurt all over the place. So it was pretty funny. So Corey Feldman has retweeted me. I have a few other people. Damian Lillard retweeted me one time. These are the happy moments of my life on Twitter.
I'm gonna tweet at Corey Feldman right now.
If you say something to Corey Feldman, say something that like you read his new book, and he will definitely retweet that within 24 hours. I guarantee you.
That's awesome.
Corey_Feldman. So yeah, I think that a lot of people, Scott, let's do a recap of last show.
It is Corey_Feldman.
It is, isn't it? Part of
the underscore mafia.
Oh man, I think a lot of people were. I was surprised. For the 5 people that listened to Goatlandia, they were really thinking that what we said on Twitter is not that far-fetched. They were agreeing with us about how it's just yell, 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 look at me, I want to be edgy famous.
Yeah, I know. It was interesting to see that, hey, maybe it's not just these 2 old goats that think that other people are kind of feeling that. And
How many years have you been teaching?
Just 2, John. Just 2.
No, seriously. Not this year. This year you've probably taught 2 years because you stay after school and you're going to school at like 6 and then you stay until 6.
Yeah, that's probably true.
So you probably doubled your career.
This is my 21st year.
Yeah, you're way ahead of me. That's what I thought.
No, am I really way ahead of you?
This is my 18th.
Oh my gosh, way ahead of you. Jeez. I started teaching when I was 12, so.
I just think it's funny. It's like, okay, so we've been teaching for this long time. So why do people, this might be the question, we don't have, people, if you can't tell that we don't have a document where we script out anything we say, we'll just tell you that we're trying to make this the only podcast that never has a script or any kind of structure whatsoever. But why do people want to be edgy famous? What are the benefits of being edgy famous? You could say that all right, so I'll throw myself under the bus. You could say that I'm edgy famous with the amount of followers I have, which we just talked about, doesn't amount to a hill of beans. Right. That and a bag of donuts will get you a bag of donuts, but what does it all mean?
I don't. You know how I feel about that. Just even that phrase, "edgy famous." I think it's just. I think it's funny.
We have I know. I think have I coined that phrase. Should I trademark that phrase?
You should. I'm gonna make a T-shirt that says, "I am Janya famous."
It's a Samuelsonism. We have some other ones too, but of course we can't talk about those on the air. But if you ever see us at a conference and you want to know some more Samuelson Bedleyisms, just let us know. We've got some really good ones for the edgy famous and some of their doings. It's not people. It's just the actions. That there are some actions that I just think people are. I'm like, here's one that really gets under my skin sometimes, and I don't know why it does. It's because I'm grouchy and I'm old, and I've been teaching for almost 2 decades. It's like I'm better than you. Like, ooh, my day was so much better than yours, and you like tweet about it or say it on Facebook. Like, ooh, I'm having a better time than you because this. Are we 12 years old? Would you like it if a student, all right, so let's seriously break it down for a second. If a 12-year-old student, if my daughter is 10, if she tweeted something and said, ooh, my day is better than yours because I just went to EduCon, wouldn't you sit her down and have a talk with her?
You would hope, John.
Right? I'm serious. Why do we think that's okay as adults? Do we think is that cute as adults? I know a bunch of people that do that kind of stuff, and it really starts to get under my skin. Like, my day is better than yours because here, I haven't seen this at EduCon, but let's just say EduCon's going on right now. It's a great conference. Let's say somebody says, my day is better than yours because I'm at EduCon, and I'm just like, no, don't do that. Don't do that,
Well, and unless there's some sarcasm in there, what are people going to feel reading that? I guess it almost feels like there's not thought put into it. It's just kind of like, I think this is going to be cute or funny, and I'm going to put it out there, and sometimes it's not so cute and funny.
No, it's not. If you're an adult, I don't think that's cute and funny anymore. I don't think it. I really don't even think it's funny if you're younger. I don't think that's funny. I think you would. I think that sometimes what we need to do is, and this might be a good thing, is as we're going through, and I'm sorry. So now I've totally taken us off. All right, Scott, I'll be the grouchy one today. I thought you were going to be grouchy, but I guess it's me. We need to just kind of, I think, sit back, and you need to apply some thought before you do some of these things. But you need to make sure that if you would be mad at your students for doing the same thing, or you would talk about them about digital citizenship, then maybe you should just leave it alone and just be like, hey, I'm at EduCon today. I hope to, if somebody said, hey, I'm at EduCon, I hope to get a great day of learning and networking out of this. I hope to meet some great new people today. Is there anything wrong with that tweet?
No, I mean, it's different than the like, nah, I'm doing this and you're not tweet. Which is what you're talking about.
Right. The na ones always kind of make me go. I'm like, come on, person. Let's not do that. Why are we always trying to lift ourselves up higher, like on a pedestal than other people? I don't know. I don't think I've ever been that way. Maybe I have a little bit at some point, but then I slapped myself back into reality and was like, why would I do that? That's ridiculous. I don't think I know I've never said like my day is better than yours because I'm here and I'm getting a massage at from the chiropractor. I mean I don't know. I just think that's weird.
I mean I get voxes from you all the time about having like coffee and it's how great it is. John, what are you talking about?
I do say that sometimes. I'm like, I think wasn't there that one time that I voxed you after I went to the Black Rock Coffee and I went, gosh, I love living in Portland. I just got a bacon white mocha where I'm like, this is living the good life.
I almost threw my phone after that. I'm like, what? A bacon white mocha? Ah!
I wish I could get a bacon white mocha. All I can get are kale shakes down here in Southern California.
This is not fair.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm stuck with ginger shots, and he's getting bacon white mochas.
I know. You take the ginger shots with the cayenne to get rid of the colds, don't you?
Oh, yeah, man. It's good stuff.
It is good stuff. So
I would get on that fast.
Okay, so here's maybe a byproduct of EduFamousness. All right, so I'm going to not name a conference, but I just looked at it. So do we try to be EduFamous so we can present at conferences? Is that why?
I think again it goes back to that phrase EduFamous is just kind of funny to me.
I think we're going to coin this one afterwards. Maybe we've always said this kind of in our Voxer groups. Maybe this is grumpy old age teachers is when you can start to peel the layer a little bit and see underneath and see that we have these cool sayings that we've just been kind of keeping to ourselves. But maybe we need to share them with the world.
Yeah, Sean Zebarth, said, let's have something called the Onion Squad, that we uncover things and do everything Yeah. So, I don't know, but I do know that it comes off interestingly. Is that politically correct now?
That was very political. It's way more politically correct than I've been so far.
No, it just is. It's just weird when you're looking over Twitter and you're trying to find good resources and you're thinking about conferences, and it's just comes off very self-promotion-y rather than content promotion. Mm-hmm. Which is great. I mean, promote content, promote cool things you're doing, but when it comes off like promoting self, it's just interesting. I don't know how to. I don't really know the right phrase to put it in, except for maybe EduFamous, but it is odd when that happens, rather than promoting content or what's cool, what's happening that's cool in your classroom or things like that can inspire other people. And so, I don't know.
Well, it's like, okay, so in my school district right now, so we've been doing a lot of rolling out of devices. We've been behind on it, but we're doing the best job we can. There's only 5 of us, and that includes me. So we're really trying to do that. But so we haven't really had chance for students to really use them as much yet. You know, it's just been happening this last. But boy, some of those teachers are really taken off because you've given them some stuff, and I haven't even really been able to go in and help them yet. I can just kind of hear what they're doing. I'm like, oh, that sounds so cool. I can't wait till I get all the rest of the devices out for these schools so that I can come back and actually help you with students and things like that. So I think that sometimes it's like we were taking pictures because we wanted, it's been a while, we want to document things, so we were taking pictures, and so it's like, here's a Chromebook cart that John made, or here's this, and I finally just kind of looked at him. I'm like, can you please like not Instagram pictures of me for our website? Like, first of all, I'm wearing my old blue sweater, so I look like a big fat Smurf, like wiring up a cart. And I'm like, I don't even mind that, but I'm like, I don't want to be, like in my school district, I don't want to be the story, and I don't want the pictures to be of me. I'd rather just have the pictures be of the students and the teachers that are working daily with the students. And I'm not trying to be like just like, oh, I'm so much better. I'm just, that's the way I feel. I'm like, I don't feel like the story should be here's an iPad cart that John set up and wired and put the cases on. Here's a Chromebook cart that John, the carts sometimes are, such a pain to wire those carts, with the bricks of the Chromebooks. But
right, let me ask you really fast. 36 iPads, 36 Chromebooks.
I think
and the cart.
I just really think it. I mean, are you asking me which one I can do? I could do 360 Chromebooks in the time it probably takes me to do 36 iPads. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just different. I think it's just what was funny is we have a great teacher here as a fourth grade teacher, and that's what I used to teach in Texas. And she's got one-to-one iPads. She got 30 iPads, and she looked at me the other day and said, I wonder if I could just get a couple Chromebooks. That would help me out. I said, okay, I'm going to try and get you a couple 4 Chromebooks to use. But right, I think that people see the value in both now. I think that you don't have to be an iPad person or a Chromebook person anymore. If you can get the iPads up and running, which takes a considerable amount of time, and once you can kind of get them going, I think they're really nice, and they're fun and good to use, and you can do creative things with them. The Chromebooks, I mean, we can take them out of the box, and they could be working with. We had students unbox them, fourth grade students at a different school, unbox them, throw the stuff down, take it like a little carrying case, take all their stuff, put it on their desk. I unroll it real quick. It takes about 30 seconds. They're using it right out. We did that right before lunch. They unboxed them all, left them there at lunch. We went around and rolled them all. By the time they came back in, they were already getting on Google Classroom. Their teacher was already setting it up for them. That's how quick it takes with Chromebooks. So yeah, but I don't want to be the story. I don't want them to be like taking pictures of me. John is enrolling Chromebooks during lunchtime. I want them to take the pictures when the kids come back in and start going to Google Classroom. Like, I think that's. I think there are some people that want to be the center of the story.
But do the conferences promote this? Like, okay, so maybe what I'm saying is, like, when the conferences promote that as the keynote, as the highlighted, one of my favorite people, Alana Leone at Edutopia, said this. She was talking about ISTE, and she said, I asked her, like, who do you want to see as keynotes, and she said more teachers.
Yes.
And to me, it was like, that's it. I mean, that's it, is sharing those stories of every teacher that's out there in classrooms and what they're doing. It's not the highlighted, it's the people that are making the difference on the ground floor. It seems like, too, a lot of people, at some level, they become so edufamous that they actually even leave classrooms and are no longer even doing anything with kids anymore. They're just,
It's almost right. It's almost like I found my one cool thing. I mean, that's why I wanted to switch from iPad Sammy, because I do really like iPads. I enjoy Apple products. I have my 6 Plus sitting right here. I love Apple products individually. From a device management standpoint for groups of students, I think that Apple has been seriously just letting it everybody run around and do whatever they want and have not been paying attention at all. And if they're not careful, Chromebooks have already started out selling them in education. They're gonna.
I was talking to my tech guy about that. I was saying like, hey, listen, like when Apple starts to feel pressure from Google that iPad's no longer it, then they're going to come out with some better way to manage these things, because right now there's not anything there, and there's no need for them to do that because people are still buying them and still putting them in classrooms. So Google Classroom's great. I mean, you get your kids enrolled, all of a sudden they're like chatting with each other and like posting messages. You push out a doc to all of them. It's still word processing, it's still word processing, and it really takes some more creativity to use it at the level that you can use an iPad creatively. But Apple's going to have to shift soon. I mean, they really are.
I hope they do. I mean, I do like their products and things like that. And I think but what you were saying before about conferences, I really think that at conferences, we do need to start having some teachers there. It's kind of the same people all the time, and some of these people aren't in the classroom anymore. And I'm not saying that you have to be as an educator that tried to take a chance and left the classroom last year. I didn't feel like I was fit at some of those conferences that I was asked to. I didn't feel like I was fit to present. What I used to present was stuff that I did with my students. I mean, now as a innovation strategist, as an innovation strategist and helping other teachers, I feel like there are some great teachers out there that get no fanfare whatsoever. They don't care. They don't know about it. I'll say the girl's name that in 4th grade that's right down the street at my daughter's school, Heather Hoxie, and she has a husband, Ryan Hoxie, who works in Hillsboro, and these two are really knowledgeable people. What makes me laugh is Ryan's in the same position I am, just a neighboring school district, and he used to work in Beaverton. And the funny thing is, Heather, I talked to Heather and I'm like, oh, well, you already probably know this from Ryan, and she's like, no, we don't talk about that stuff. And it's funny because it's the same way I am with my wife. She's like, she hears me talking, she's like, well, I'd like to do that. okay, if we can ever get the 4 kids to sleep, then we can do those things. But right, Heather Hoxie is one of those people. She doesn't have a Twitter account. She took those iPads, and she had no direction from me whatsoever. I mean, we talked about apps. I had done a professional development day at her school. We had talked about things. We had met. But this is pretty much all her. She's pretty much the person that before the district started, hiring my position, which is a new position, she's the person that pretty much ran the 2 iPad carts and, was in charge of all that stuff, which is kind of how I got started, because it was just iPod Touches for me is what I was in charge of. And you used to do that. You need that one person that's going to give the extra hours. And I mean, to manage those carts, even back before volume purchasing, I mean, managing the iPod Touches was like, I don't know, it was probably about 2 hours a week extra. But I liked them, and I wanted to keep them in my classroom, and and my kids, I think, probably would thank me for it now. I mean, we did have that one boy, Nilan, who's not a boy anymore, he's a junior in high school, but who made that app just on his own. And awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's cool how things kind of present themselves a little bit. But right, I don't know. It sometimes to me seems like the people that should be presenting at these conferences are people that we haven't found yet, and they've got their head down to the grindstone, and they're just doing good work.
Yeah, I mean, and I found one of those people when I went to at Camp 605, and I walked into a session that was talking about maker spaces, and I was like, oh my gosh, this person is brilliant, and she should be like speaking to everybody and sharing what she's doing. And it's like you're so thankful for those moments when you connect with those people that are out there and they actually share, because what I've seen is a lot of those teachers that are doing these things are so busy doing those things and so focused on the kids that they don't care about all this other stuff. They don't care about Twitter and all, speaking at conferences. They're so focused on that, but it's like, hey, let's be the conduit to share what they are doing, so that those special things that they are doing can be, seen in other classrooms.
I think when I go around and I might start, present at conferences again. I will be way more choosy with the ones that I do, but I think that that's all my job is going to be. I'm going to take them and I'm going to put them out there and say,
Yeah.
here's what they're doing in Heather Hoxie's classroom in my district. And if I actually work with her and help her on stuff, I guess I'll say that I helped her with this. But I think I don't need that credit. I think that there's a big difference. I can look myself in the mirror, and I don't trust me, I'm looking at myself right now on this Google Hangout. Please bring back Google Docs. And I try not to look at myself in the mirror. But I know if I'm doing a good job. It just comes from, for me, it comes from within, and I don't need to hear it on echo chambers. I'm always appreciative if somebody says something to me on Twitter, but I'm not really doing it for that. I'm doing it because I think it'll help people, and if it helps a person, if I make a Listly or a Symbaloo or whatever whatever I make, or I give them, they ask me for some app advice and I give them some app advice, or show them how to use it, then I think that's all good. And so here's what I think is funny. So if I looked up this conference, and it will be a conference that shall remain nameless. So let's say I wanted Heather to present, and I was like, okay, you need to get out there and present for yourself, okay, which she doesn't want to do. So I looked up what it would be if she just wanted to do an hour, 50-minute session at a conference. So she would get a $200 discount on the registration. You must register, though, to be able to present, okay? If she had a co-presenter, and she does have a team teacher that works with her, Jennifer Witten, who I will also mention, who is doing a great job as well. If Jennifer wanted to co-present with her and her name was second on the list, she would get no discount whatsoever. So $200, nothing so far, if these teachers wanted to do that. And the conference would cost her $475 as which would include now her membership, so that next year, if she went, she could get a discount. So it would still cost her personally to go and present at this conference $275.
What?
She would have to take a day off of school and create subplans, and if her co-teacher wanted to teach with her, she would have to pay $475.
Wow.
So why are we doing this? I think that these are the barriers that that doesn't really foster. Like, if I see that, why would you do that then? Why would you take a day away from your kids? Why would you? All right, so I would assume that.
And what's that conference making off of her?
And what is the conference making off her? If they're making $475 a person for non-members and $375 for members to go to this, and so if you went to all the days or whatever, and let's say it's a 4-day conference or whatever, you'd have to get subplans for those 4 days. That's a lot of work in subplans and things like that. It would, and then what kind of days are you taking? Is your building going to be nice and give you like a professional?
John, we're going to be in trouble for talking about this.
You think so?
Yeah, I know so, and I'm happy about it.
Well, but am I right though? And then what?
No, you're right.
I have to take like a personal day off. Then I have to take a personal day, and so
you're going to go and make that conference money because of the teachers who go in there. You're going to pay personally yourself, and you're going to present you're going to present quality stuff, and that's great. And so your fulfillment comes from that, which is perfectly okay. But again, it's on the backs of this conference making that much money off of you. Even you yourself presenting, it seems backwards to me.
Right, and so then the other thing you could do is, if you wanted to get paid for what, I looked at the same thing. So if you want to get paid for sessions, you can do a 2-hour session, which is very time. Those are time intensive. The 2-hour sessions. I've done a few of them at ISTE, and they would pay $300. So if you did 2-hour sessions, you could make $125 and have your conference paid for. That's what it would take for you to actually see some
And the amount of time to create 2-hour workshop.
2-hour workshops, right? Because you can't do the same one twice.
Right. That would be. That's a tremendous amount of time to create a quality workshop for that amount of time. I mean, wow.
So anyway, I don't know what we're gonna. I mean, I don't know. I think that Carl Lingenstreicher and Franz Davis want to talk about this on a later Techlandia, talk about like redoing, and then not even to mention the conference structure of just like the sit and get, right? I mean, you're just going to get lectured at with slides, and I don't know. It's a tough thing. You know, I like to work sometimes for the only conference right now that I've agreed to go do this year is the Arizona K-12 Center does some good work, and I know that they don't have a ton of money or whatever, but I'm going to do a week-long, they call it Camp Plug and Play, and they've been doing it for 10, I think this will be the 10th year, and this will be the 3rd year in a row that I've done it, and you get to sit with the same people for a week. And I feel like that you can build a lot of connections. So you do sit with them. I mean, you sit with them for 8 hours. I mean, talk about time intensive. 8 hours a day of, you know, like, you know, helping people and talking to teachers and things like that. It's great, but yeah, that's the only one that I have gotten so far. I think there's a couple more on the horizon, but like I said, I don't want to toot my own horn or anything. I think I might get called into sub duty here in a second because I think I might have to. I think I'm a pinch hitter at a conference for somebody, but
well, I'm gonna make you co-present at Q or something.
I'm gonna be your secretary at Q, or I'm gonna be your personal assistant, maybe. Is that good? I'll do it for Tim as well, because I know that Tim will need somebody to maybe carry his walker around for him. Or I'll be like, Tim, it's 4 o'clock. It's time to go to Denny's and get the Grand Slam early.
You're gonna be filling up his little Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday like vitamin pill.
That's right. I'll fill up his little pills. Be like, here you go. Carry around his oxygen for him.
Oh God.
See that we're
already. Hey Tim, I love you, dude. If I know you're
already contradicting
him. Out.
Yeah, he's listening while he's working out. Like that's way more than we do. If anything, I'm carrying around the oxygen for myself.
Yeah.
Right.
Me too.
Well, we're sorry that we're so grumpy on this one. I think these are things that maybe we never know where we're going with this podcast, but I think these are serious issues.
Yeah.
That at least we'll throw them out there, and if you don't want to like us afterwards, then don't like us afterwards. But I mean,
we'll still like you, though.
We will still like you, but these are just our opinions, and I feel like we're not really bringing new people. This is always my thing. I don't feel like we're bringing new people into I feel like we're like, okay, I'm edufamous. You know what? How can I block everybody else from becoming more edufamous? Is it really a contest? Does it have to be competitive all the time?
No, and I think the perspective too, and just wrap up is we think the room is smarter than the speaker.
Yes.
We think the room has more to offer, and so how do we, question the structure, and so let's call it out. Let's call it like it is.
I don't think we're going to get any change unless we start really. I don't know if people want sit and gets. I don't know. I don't. I want like discussions. I like ed camps. I like those things. Those are very valuable, and those are great conferences. And you know what the best thing about them is? They're free.
That's right.
And you just go there, and there are some great people there, and you don't have to worry about shelling out $475, and it's usually on a Saturday, so you don't have to pay for a sub, and you don't have to worry about taking a sick day, and all that yada yada. So yeah, I think that we've got something here with ed camps. I don't know how we push ed camps further. I do know that we have a staff development day on Monday, and at that school with Heather Hoxie and Jennifer Witten, they were the people that organized, and they didn't know they were doing this, but they organized it kind of in an ed camp style fashion, where they're going to give people choices for their professional development, and it's 5 schools instead of just the one school sitting there doing stuff. Yeah, I think it's good. So I still can't believe you haven't watched To Live and Die in LA. We would like you to tweet at. I don't think you can tweet at GOAT because that'll be that's greatest of all time. That's Michael Jordan. So you might have some Michael Jordan tweets in there. But I think you should, if there's anybody listening, I think you should tweet at Scott Bedley and tell him that To Live and Die in LA, for him living in LA, is for him not to have seen that or Heat. I think it's crazy. I think it's almost.
I live behind the orange curtain. I don't live in Los Angeles.
That's right. Have you listened to any No Doubt records lately?
No, but I think I saw Gwen Stefani getting tea.
Really?
No.
Was she getting a cayenne and lemon juice
Yeah, we
in
were doing ginger shots together. It was
ginger
great.
shots?
And she was singing that she's just a girl.
I love Gwen Stefani.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
I went to
you
high
keep it.
school with her, so it was kind of cool.
You did not go to high school with Gwen Stefani.
I know.
Did you go to high school with anybody famous? There's always famous people down there in
You
SoCal.
know what? In the district that I went to school in, Will Ferrell actually went to
Nice.
the rival high school. He'll
Nice.
still go back there, John. He'll come back and he'll get on the PA system and just start like saying crazy stuff, like everybody like run rampant in the school and like
Well,
yeah. So he'll come back and you know these guys, Zach De La Roca, name that band.
oh, Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, they're also from the city that I grew up in, as well as Thrice. Have you heard of Thrice?
I've heard of Thrice. I couldn't tell
Yeah,
you a song though.
they're a little less famous than Zach and his band, but yeah, there's been some people.
There's been some people. Well, I have two for you from my high school. Mine is Oak Park River Forest High School, and we boast such alums as Ernest Hemingway, for
Oh,
Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's,
Ray Kroc
and
and former Padre owner.
former owner of the San Diego Padres. But in my actual class, our most famous person, one of our, I guess it's definitely our most famous person is Tom Lennon, who's going to be on The Odd Couple with Matthew Perry. You know Tom Lennon? He's been in so many movies. He like wrote The Pacifier. He was
Okay.
he's the guy in Reno 911 that wears the really tight shorts.
Oh,
Dang.
okay, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so he was like in my same
It's
like
sad that references how I know him.
right.
Though.
Well, that's a funny show, and so he was in my locker hallway in at a high school, and then one of my friends, Michelle McNamara, is married to Patton Oswalt.
Oh my gosh, really?
Children, yeah. So that she's really nice, and
Gosh, he's like one of the biggest cartoon voices.
he's great. I mean, he's great.
I mean,
I've some of his movies, like The Fan, great movie. There was the one where oh, I forget. It's oh, there's one where the girl. I'll get it for you next time. I'll give it to you next time. But where Charlize Theron comes back to like try and like get with her old high school sweetheart, and Patton Oswalt's living in like the Minnesota town. That's a great movie, and I forget what it's called, but it's Patton Oswalt is awesome in that movie.
oh.
He's a good actor. He's just a smart guy.
Are we like way over our 30-minute
We're way
max?
over. We can cut it out whenever. We just wanted to end on with something light. See, we're not all serious. That was our other thing. We just think you cannot talk about education all the time.
No.
If you talk about education all the time, you're going to go crazy, and that's obviously what we see. We still, even when we get on little events like this, we need to maybe take a step back.
No,
There's
and
football
we
tomorrow,
both love talking education, but
though. Yeah.
there's something about a balanced life and that really allows you to be at your maximum.
I know. I think you know what. If I can say one thing I take away is tweet out stuff you think will help people, or share things that you think will help people. Share ideas, share lessons, collaborate with people. But at the end of the day, if you can look yourself in the mirror and know that you did a good job and
Yeah.
know what your intentions are, then I don't think you need to get out all the other stuff. You don't need to worry about the noise. And I think I'm probably I mean, if I have 13,000 Twitter followers, which I do, there was probably a point in my Twitter where I was just like, oh, share, go crazy, try and, whatever I thought I was doing. But yeah, if you can learn from the error of my ways, then that's good.
Yeah, and share the love for those people that aren't out there sharing.
Right. Find the people. I'll end with this one. So Miss Geeky Teach, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean,
Sorry.
Sarah one time, I met her at a Starbucks in Las Vegas. And this was when I wasn't teaching. I was trying to, she had signed up for our product. And so I sat there with Sarah, and I talked to her, and I had taught in the Las Vegas school, in Clark County School District. I knew how just bad, it's just bad there. It's just bad. And so anyway, I mean, I saw her, and and to make a long story short, I talked to her. She went to Q. We introduced her to some people. She won a huge award for, oops, I just dropped a transformer, a huge award in like for Clark County for like innovating something because she did Ed Camp Vegas.
Wow.
And I
Very
was like,
cool.
I would told her, I was like, do an Ed Camp, do something, and she did it. She got this nice award. I'm like, that's good. At least they're recognizing people. And I mean, she's a young teacher with a lot of enthusiasm, and I think that that's good. So if I looked at that award that she had gotten, I was like, I felt like that was good. I'm like, yeah, that's good. That's right. Sarah was good. She just needed. I always feel nice if you can like help guide a person a little bit, and then they can take off on their own, push them out
Yeah.
of the nest.
Yep.
Sarah's great anyway.
She is. She is, and it's just. I think it's going to be just a blip on all the things she'll end up doing in her career,
Oh my
impacting
gosh, she's so young.
education
I
and
know she's so young. She's so young. She's got a lot of good stuff to do ahead of her. So anyway, all right. Well, so we're way too long. Sorry, people. Well, you know what? We don't have to apologize. Do we have to apologize? No, we're grumpy old teachers.
no, just that's the way it is, and
That's
we
the way
like
it
it.
That's the way it is. No, the A in grumpy old age teachers, I interpret it as something different. So you'll have to excuse me if I apologize and just say grumpy old teachers, because if I did, we would lose our rating with my A word that I put in iTunes. But I will not put that in. I am going to keep my record of just being a nice, mild-mannered host.
Attentive.
All right. Well, we
Grumpy
will.
old attentive teachers.
Grumpy old attention deficit disorder teachers. We will be back on whenever Scott and I feel like it, and whenever we feel like we have something to talk about. But thanks for listening, people. Scott, do you have any last words?
Oh man, it's after hours. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody, and we will catch you on the flip side.